Okay, concertation. This is Barry. I'm a visitor to Donegal. I'm going to just do it. I'm not the greatest concertina player in the world, far from it, and I'm not a concertina teacher. I'm just an enthusiastic practitioner on it. So I'm just giving a little bit on ornamentation and style. So I'm just going to talk a tiny little bit about it, not so much on it, but just even just for a couple of minutes. Ornamentation is just about changing the tune, embellishing the tune, and it can be used to develop your own style of playing, etc. It's not the be all and end all of playing. Music playing is more social, really, and playing for dancing. So you've got the melodies, and you've got the rhythm, that's the core. You don't have to ornament a tune, but it is nice to put in some ornamentation. So on the concertina, the first thing before you even look at the talk about ornamentation, look at the concertina layout. Know where every note is. So when I first was learning concertina, when I was a child, I was taught not by, but I was taught by someone who didn't really know the concertina and basically taught it like an accordion. So on that basis, and it wasn't wrong, absolutely not wrong, but just basically it limited the playing. So basically on that, I was using the high D's on the right hand side and the high E's, and the C naturals, and I wasn't looking at the inside roll on the left hand side. Now most of the notes I use in the like the high when I'm playing high E's and high D's, I'm playing on the left hand side inside roll, and I ornament on the right hand side. Um, you don't have to do that, but it's just good to know. So the second thing is, so really know the layout of the concertina. So for example, like take the high D's and high E's. So you got that on the left hand side, and you also have it on the right hand side. So even at the very start, um, um, that changes the way your fingers work on a certain tune. So basically, that's a technique change. Now, most players now, concertina is so well taught now by teachers all over the world that that type of misconception is no longer prevalent in technique and playing. That most players know that you can switch between the right and left hand side effectively. But when I was first learning, that was almost like a secret of Fatima. Basically, and I went, oh, I never considered that, and I had to relearn a lot of my tunes at the time, and start looking at the where the notes were. But of course, then that went, well, there's two D's in the concertina, so there's even a D on the left hand side and you've a D on the press. You've three G's on the concertina, and of course that meant then said, oh well, I can interchange the tunes. I can interchange the notes whenever I need to, in terms of to make it easier to play or more efficient, or to change the sound, etc., etc. So the first thing is know the layout of your concertina. Not all concertinas are laid out the same way in terms of where the C sharps are, or etc., or if there's a duplicate note going through. So the one, know the layout of your concertina even before you're talking about ornamentation or anything like that, because it does change it. So styles of nice things to do in the concertina. First thing is, ornamentation is just embellishing playing. It's not the be and end all at all of it. It only just makes it sound a little bit different. You can develop your own style in it. It's a mechanism for expressing yourself, etc. So that's all it is. The most important, obviously, is the melodies, the type of tunes you play. Not all tunes suit the concertina. By all means, try them and play them, but there's lots out there that takes so much time to learn and make sound good, that you might learn five tunes for the one that's technically difficult. But that's a personal choice as well. So for first thing, a nice simple way of ornamenting the tune I'll talk about is double octave playing. I'll take a very simple jig. I'm not. It's just to give an example. So that's the tune. Or that's the first part of the tune. Double octave playing, and you don't do it all the time. You just do it every one time. So on this one, I'm double octave with the higher part. Just an example of it. The other thing is you don't have to do the whole, you can just do one note. Okay, so that and that can be applied to anything, any of the tunes. Not all tunes are suitable for that, but there's plenty of tunes that are, and it's a case of, and it can do, it changes the sound of it. Grace notes. Grace notes are quite easy. Generally speaking, if there's two A's in a tune, you just grace note it with a B. It's just a little or a cut or something like that. So there's in grace notes, not that they're easy. It's just like and it doesn't matter what note it is. It's the same. It's the same process, and it's a case of just putting in. So for example, let's see. So ABA is a classic grace note. So if there's two A's, it's ABA. Yeah, I'm not going to go through them all, but like that. That's like G is GCG, for example. If it's the tune is in the key of G, which is like EGE. So it'd be two E's. Instead of doing two E's, you do EGE, etc. And you can go right through all the notes like that and pick out the notes that normally ornament. Again, I'm definitely not a concertina teacher, and I'm definitely not the best player in the world for this. I'm an amateur enthusiast on this. I have been playing a long time, so so that's on terms of ornamentation and grace notes. And you can go through all the keyboard on it. So the higher ones on a high E. Normally it's a button that's close to it, so it's normally I mean there are more jazzy ornaments you can use, but just say it's normal, like a high E would be F sharp on the pull instead of going. The thing is, you have to make it as subtle as possible. So the root note is the A or the high E's, and the grace note has to be just like a tap at it, like, you know, that it's there but not there, and that's it. Then you got rolls, or not even rolls. I don't know. They're kind of a modified roll on the concertina, and they're slightly. So for example, on an A, it's ADBA. And again, you try and make it as subtle as possible. So I'm just giving you an example on the A, so it's ADBA. G. And there's other versions. There used to be a slap roll where you go. And I'm not very good at it. It's not my style, that type of thing. But or G, E, C natural back to G again. Or you could put a G, high G on it. But again, the idea is to make it as subtle as possible. And sometimes maybe it's not worth putting in the roll or the ornament, and it might be just playing the tune without it and putting in a stop. So I'm just giving you. There's loads of ornamentation out there, and I'm sure it's written down somewhere in some document out there that you can go through each note on it, and there's various. So for example, the high E, the one that I was taught originally and again, it's not a roll, but it's maybe it's an extended grace note, but it's kind of modified. So it was high E, high A, F sharp, and back to E again on the high E's and on the draw. And again, as light as possible on the ornamentation. Try and make it as subtle as possible. So and then you got harmonics, like in a lot of tunes, if it's kind of a D major key, or even it works in some of the other D and A is a harmonic. And if you're playing G, then the harmonic is DG. So these are just ideas. So I'm not, again, I am no expert on ornamentation or concertina in that respect, but it's just if you want to have a little bit of difference in your playing, these type of ideas might assist. But again, the most important thing, know the layout of your concertina notes. Ornamentation is just embellishing the music, and there's loads of different styles of ornamentation. The rolls, there's loads of like these. There's loads of different types of rolls, loads of grace notes, which means that you have enough terms of an arsenal or a toolbox to ornament the tune effectively, especially when the tune is a nice tune in the first place. So I suppose, I don't know if that assists really on ornamentation without going through each note and what each ornament could be, because the ornamentation is really, there is no right or wrong way. Well, there could be a wrong way if it's too cluttered, but it's up to the style you want to play. Like so sometimes sometimes it could be just putting in a stop and an ornament instead of putting a big roll. Just go and put in a pause and back in again, and it makes it kind of sound punchy. You can use the bellows to ornament a tune in one sense. So you've got the jig you did. You go. Just an example of sound of using the instrument to change the sound of the tune. So it's after that, then it's just about developing your own style. And look, again, I am not I've played a long time, but I am not a professional expert or a person who even practices that much. It's just it's something I can do when I can snatch some time, essentially, and Shinna will. As I say, that's just a little bit on ornamentation and concertina styles, etc. I always like to, and there was one concept I really liked to, when there was it was Noel Hill when he was at one of the workshops, and talking about music like being a wave with highs and lows, and I think, you know, that in a tune, like, and you can use if you think of it as a wave function, effectively, that you have like a peak in the tune where it might be really vibrant, and then a kind of a lull, essentially. So it's following a wave pattern rather than something that's a straight line with no kind of, and that can be used in terms of volume as well. Like, you play very loud in one part and then lower. There's loads of tricks you can use, and you can develop them yourself effectively. There's loads of teachers out there now, and whether they're online or around the world, in terms of actually physical teachers as well, and they all have different ideas, which makes it exceptionally wonderful. So Shinna will.